This is a standing clock repair, and you'll see in a second here how the hands actually are all loose, and you can see how they kind of fell down to the bottom. So the real solution is to basically get to the clock face and try to reattach those press fit clock hands back into the clock. Now this clock was modified by the customer. Looks like it was hot glued around the perimeter, and I'll find out later that it was actually kind of a loose fit, which is probably why it was hot glued in the first place. So a little X-Acto knife cutting, I could get around the trim from the frame and the actual black plastic that is the proper clock to loosen everything up and eventually get it out. You'll see me pulling out the excess hot glue from it, or it may have actually even been a silicone-based kind of adhesive as well too. So so it did come off rather easily. Now that most of it is off, I'm applying some slight pressure to the glass face to try to wedge it out and push it through. A few more areas maybe just need a little more cutting here. And now with the face removed, we can start getting to the actual clock face. So we'll start to remove the protective lens in front of it, or glass, and then actually get to the clock. We'll have to make some modifications to this to kind of return it back to its original condition, and we'll see that in a few moments here. But first, we basically just need to get into the clock, and we will reattach those press fit hands to the actual clock shafts. Alright, now that I got my tools, I'm able to pry open the glass, or the plastic face from the actual plastic housing of the clock. I can actually get to the clock. Clock cover is a little bit dirty, so we'll fix that. You can actually see me pressing on the minute and hour hand back onto the shaft, and I'll use the dial to spin it and just make sure everything is moving freely, and it is. Alright, something good to note here is, there's a few different types of pre-made clocks you could get. This happened to be the press fit type onto the shaft. Usually the hour hand always is press fit. Sometimes the minute hand has like a nut, a keyed nut system with a thread that you have to put in. So when you go into the store to find replacements, just make a note of that. Try to buy the same size, and it usually is the difference between how far the shaft sticks out, so you don't hit the front of the lens. It ends up being the critical part. Also, when reattaching the clock, just make sure that everything spins freely. Sometimes the minute hand, the second hand, or the hour hand can kind of cross over if they're bent slightly. So you just want to try to give it a full rotation to make sure you don't have that situation. After the faceplate was clean, put everything back together. That snapped pretty easily. So as we prepare to put everything together, I noticed that the fit is kind of loose at the face, and basically what I'll end up doing is I'll spend most of my time trying to get a nice snug fit in there, get it lined up, and also try to clean out all the silicone that was in there previously as the glue, just to make this thing fit securely in there. I'll also re-engage the metal tabs. There were 4 metal tabs that were kind of touching the outer, I guess, inner raceway that was in there of this housing, and that I guess is the standard way of taking it in and out, although albeit a little awkward. But the fit was still a bit loose, so I'll end up wedging something at the base of the clock just to kind of keep it in place a bit better as the customer takes the item home. So now that the silicone is gone, you could actually see the tabs that I'm talking about, and I'll keep creeping and bending them upwards until I get them into a somewhat secure fit that I could still slide in and out of the housing. This kind of pushes the face against the front face by pushing off the back face, and hopefully we'll see that in a little bit. It takes a few iterations just to get the right length, and so I don't actually damage the tabs itself, so it should be in good shape and straightforward from here. Now you start to see me wedging in that, I guess, some remnant silicone adhesive that I could use as a little rubber kind of shim around the bottom base, just to give it a little firm hold into the round seat. Alright, since it's holding in nicely now, I'm just going to clean up the front. There's a little remnant glue or silicone adhesive on the outside, so just to get rid of some of those hairs, I'll pick them out. Now I start setting the clock. Since it seems to be running fine, set it to the actual time, and just give it a few minutes just to make sure everything is running, and we're basically done here. I'm still not 100% satisfied with the holding, so I'm thinking of a solution. And good old duct tape to the rescue here. So again, it was holding, but I just want to give a little something extra for her before she heads home. And in this case, I just folded over a little piece of duct tape. Everything's hidden in the back, and there's a door to hide everything, so there's no chance of seeing anything. And if there's some remnant glue from the tape, it'll hold. But this is a case where duct tape wins and will make a nice firm hold on the clock and then the adjacent housing, just to give one little extra hope that this thing doesn't move. Close it up and the customer is good to go. Hope you enjoyed this and it can help you with your standing clock.